make it better if I said welcome to medical school?
It takes a serious amount of time and effort to be competitive when applying to med school. For research and community service alone, successful applicants report more hours than a year-long full-time job. I've spent thousands of hours doing things that would one day lead to me being accepted to medical school. Well, today's that day. So I actually found out on October 15th, a few days ago, and that day in particular was important because it's the first day that MD med schools can send out any acceptances to people, to their programs. And so according to the AMC traffic rules, up until that point, nobody had received any acceptance from an MD school. And so anyone, who had interviewed up until that point, it was just this big day of, hoping and waiting that that day you would receive an acceptance. And so for me, this was a really important day because I had already interviewed at several schools and was essentially waiting to hear back yes or no whether or not they were going to accept me to their medical school. And specifically, I had interviewed at Georgetown, University of Arizona Phoenix, Texas Tech, and the University of Utah. And specifically, I was told by the University of Arizona Phoenix that I would be hearing from them, whether I got into their school or didn't. They would give me a phone call if I was getting in, or they would email me if I was on the wait list or rejected. And so I knew I was getting that news. I knew something was happening. And so there's kind of this heightened stress of the day. I knew at least I was hearing from one school and I could potentially hear from these others as well. And so it was just this day of kind of anticipation and a lot of worry. It was really, really scary going in to that day thinking I'm going to have potentially life-changing news happen today as far as my life for the next several years. And so that was just nerve-wracking. And then on top of that, I also had interviews at UCLA. I had a whole interview day, they call it, scheduled for that day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was booked out for UCLA's interview day. Additionally, I had a physics test to take, so I had to plan that before doing my whole interview day. So I, early in the morning, get up, ride over to campus to take this test. I end up being there longer than I expected, and so I get out and I just have to hustle back. And I have no time, at home before getting on Zoom for my UCLA interview. I just throw on a suit, get my Zoom set up all ready and configured, and then get on for the interview. So the whole day I'm kind of engaged in this UCLA interview, trying, that's a stressful experience in and of itself, trying to, put your best foot forward in this interview day and really express yourself in the interviews. At the same time, thinking about, what could be happening today, what news could I be receiving. And I'm in an interview with one of my UCLA interviewers, and there's a timer that's like ticking down. You can see on the screen of how much time is left in the interview. And we're within the last minute or so of the interview, and we're kind of wrapping things up, still just chatting, and a call pops up on my phone from University of Arizona Phoenix. And I glance down briefly at my phone because I see it ring, and I see it's from Arizona, and I just about lose it. I mean, not on the interview, but I forget completely what I'm saying in the interview. I'm just kind of just blank. I'm like, oh no. Like, I just assumed I wouldn't be getting a different sort of call from Arizona. At least I didn't hope so. I was like, no way. If this is really what I think it is, this is amazing. And so this is going through my mind while I'm still trying to converse in this interview. And I just think, oh my gosh, it was just, I don't know. I just had this overwhelming sense of like curiosity of what is going to be on the other side of this phone call. But I wrap up the interview, it finishes out great, and I pick up my phone and call the number back. Good one. Bye-bye. Woo! So I got off this phone call and I was just amazed. I didn't know what to think. This was just such big news. I had no idea how to react or what to think or anything. And so I get my wife and I tell her, and she's all excited. And then she starts crying kind of a lot. And I'm thinking like, are you okay? What's wrong? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? And what she said to me kind of hit me really hard. And What she said was, everything that you've been doing, all the time and effort and sacrifice that you've put in, and a lot of sacrifice on her part as well. I mean, she's given up a lot for me to have, time to do all the things that I've done, preparing to go to medical school and doing the things I really care about. And she's given up a lot. She's given up me, she's giving up time, she's given up money, she's given up so many things. And to her in that moment, in a way, was a payoff of that. It was like all of this, I've been harnessing all this energy and putting so much time and effort into something, and it finally is like you can see the fruits of that. And it just reminded me of how taxing that the whole process can be, and how emotionally invested you can be in something that really is important. This is important to us in our lives and what we're going to be doing. And it was a good reminder to me to focus on the things that really matter most, and to really give time to things that really matter to us and that really deserve our time and attention. And family, I think, is a huge one that we can so easily neglect. And this process has shown me more than anything in my life that if I'm not careful, my family gets neglected first, really, out of anything. So I think that no matter what you're doing in life, no matter what dream you're chasing, I think it's always important to come back to the things you really care about and really make sure that those things are not being pushed to the side in the sight of some dream that may not be in the end as important to you as the things that really matter. So that was one of my big takeaways from the day. Super, super stoked about medical school. Really excited to pursue the rest of the application cycle and see what comes. But really, really excited about this first acceptance and looking forward to seeing where we go.